In the marketplace, look for SuperGrid, open this one up, and it's completely free. You have to create a project, create that project, and then let me take you inside of this project. This is what it looks like. In a content drawer, you see all the files that make this up. Now, in content SuperGrid, you see there's a tutorial level overview, and we don't really need this. We only need the starter pack. So on starter pack, right click, then click migrate, because we're going to migrate this to another project. So only the starter pack is fine right here. Then look on your computer where you want your file to be stored. And in my case, I want it in this project. This will be your own project, of course. And then you need it in the content. Then select your map, and this will do the trick. And then we can open that one. So in my case, open project. And for me, it is here, this one. But of course, this is a project where you just migrate it to, and then you click open. Now let me show you the power of SuperGrid. Well, let's compare it to a basic cube first. So let's say I drag in a cube, and then I scale it. You can see I have no reference or something. And when I drag this out, the left and the right side, they drag out at the same time. So now let's go in SuperGrid starter pack, and then here in source, and under new, you can find the SuperGrid box. And you have the SuperGrid box normal and the centered one. The centered one actually does the same. See, it goes to the left, it goes to the right. But I really like this normal SuperGrid box. So now when I drag out, you can see it is to one side, and then I can move it up. And you can see there is a cool material applied to this. And here each little box is 10 centimeters. So then I know from one side to the other is 1 meter. Now I like to have snapping on 10 because of this, because when I move this around, you can see this already snaps nicely. So I'm going to remove this one and this one. And then I can make a play area for myself pretty fast. And I can see how things have to be aligned. Then I can alt drag this up. And then I can rotate this one around. And you can see easy walls. And you can look at it from different sides. And you can see that they align or not. And if they don't align, you have to move them back or up and down. And you can see this aligns nicely. So you have something very cool to work with. Now you can see these have some materials applied to them. This is the power of it, which makes it very cool to work with. So here in the pack, starter pack, you also have other materials. And let's look here at the palette, and you have different kind of grids. So you have the walkable grid, and you can see some footsteps on that one. And then you can here have the double color one, just like this one. You can make it for walls. So I like to have a walkable area, and then my walls at default, for example. And then you can have other cubes. So let's alt drag this one in. And let's say where you have some objects or players walking, you can have a different material. So you can have different materials for everything. But now let's say you want to change the color of the walkable area. That's not a problem. Let's double click on this one. And then you can double click here on this color. And you can change it however you would like. And the other one as well. And you can hit save and apply that color back to this one. See, so I just changed this one, and now you can see it in real time. Or let's say, so Ctrl Z to undo all those changes. You also want this one, but another one. Then you can right click, create a material instance. Then you still have your original. Then you tick the box of that color. And then, for example, you have red, something yellowy, and something more blue-greenish. And then you can drag this one onto this. But at least you still have the other ones if you want to, okay? So this is a very cool example that you can use. Now, there are different kind of shapes. So back in starter pack, source, new. You can see that there are cylinders, you have cones, but mostly you use these arches and these super box. You have different ones, maybe ramps, and you can make this bigger, taller. But also some cool thing is they have blueprints and stairs. So the stairs, you can see you can make them wider. And now you can quickly see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meters wide. You can make them taller, but you see the amount of stairs doesn't change. So this is where they have blueprints. So back in the starter pack, blueprints. And let's drag these dynamic stairs next to my other stairs. And then you can quickly make this, for example, 3 meters wide. And now you can do the same as the other ones, but you can see this little thing right here. So when I use the move tool and I then move this forward, then you can see it created these extra stairs for me really fast. So I can drag it back. So if you rather have this workflow, it does a lot more than this one. So you can still drag this off. And then you have the separate stairs right here. But you can also find the dynamic stairs once more. And then move this one forward like this, and then edit it like this. And then select it. And if you want to change the thickness, you can also do that one very easily. Okay, let's increase my playing field so I can have some more examples to this. Because you can see I created walls like this. There is also another way. So, SuperGrid walls. And you can also see this blue icon right here for me. I can drag this up. And it makes this well, taller. And let's say my player is 2 meters. So 2 meters, this is where his head is. But I want a big one, so 4 meters, for example. This is the power of this. Now you want your game view enabled, so G on your keyboard to toggle this on and off. Because then you can see the spline points. And you have to look really good for this one. I think, yes, there's the spline point. And with the spline point, you can drag this and you can see the walls are generated like this. But now when I hold Alt and drag, I can drag out walls like this. You can quickly prototype a level this way. See? And with snapping enabled, you can do something like this and create something like this. Then with my SuperGrid walls selected, then I hit this blue icon, so it becomes white. And now I can change the height of the entire thing if I want to change it once more. It is some pretty cool feature that you can also have. And then with this also selected, you can go back here in the details. Scroll down a bit, and then you can see the column thickness. So you can have really fat columns, or just normal ones, or just leave it at default. Or thicker walls. See? So you can change the wall thickness or back here to default. And if for some reason you want to change all the colors to the same thing, which I wouldn't recommend because I like different colors for different roles, you have the SuperGrid master. Drag this into your field and you can see everything changes except these blueprint stairs for some reason. But you have the SuperGrid master right here. And then you can, let's say, make everything blue or pink. And you can change the materials like this. Let the shaders compile if you see this. Wow, this is really nice. Well, this is no longer prototyping. This is the definite, the final result. But I wouldn't recommend using this one, so I just delete this. And well, then you can change everything back to how you want it. So maybe like it like this. Ctrl Z to undo changes if you want the previous one. So let's apply what we learned so far and create a basic level for this. Let's drag in a cube, if you haven't already. And let's drag this out so the player can stand on this. And then we are going to create a little maze, and then the player comes right to a temple, for example. Okay, so let's see if my scale works out. Yeah, let's keep this to meters so everything works better. Okay, and let's create one here. Okay, then you can drag in another cube and apply different material to that, so we can see on different things we are working on. In materials, you have different ones here, palette. We have the grids here, for example. And let's choose a double color here, so we can have something to work with. Okay, let's align this right here. Hit F on your keyboards to snap to that location. Let's move this one into position right here, for example. Okay, and I'm always switching between these ones right here. Okay, something like this. Let's make it thicker. You can also move to that side and move this into position. I'm going to do this pretty fast. You can take your time, your sweet time for this. Okay, let's all drag this to this side. to align it like that. Okay, and let's have a roof going on like there later on. Okay, good. So for inside of here, let's all drag this one out and make this one smaller. And drag it to here, for example. So we can have a little door going on. And also this right here. You see, this is not perfectly aligned with what I'm doing right here, but you can take your time with this, like I said before. Shift click. So shift click to both of these, you can drag them and move them back. This is just prototyping after all. Later on you can change this with your own materials and your own models. Yeah, I think something like this would work. Let's move this up. And do something like this. So we see these 2 meters, so our player can still walk through them. Let's add pillars. So back here, source new. You can see different ones. What are we going to use for this one? A cylinder will be good. So let's drag out the cylinder. Let's make this one smaller. Yeah, I think this will be fine. And then increase its size. Move it into position a bit. You can have some fun playing around with this one. Shift click, Alt drag, and now we are quickly prototyping the entrance of a temple, for example. Something like this could work. And Alt drag this one out. And let's add a roof quickly on here. So let's find a slope for this one, drag this onto here. Let's move this one into position. Let's drag it out like so. Drag it like here. And move it up. Then Alt drag, E to rotate, minus 180 degrees in this case. And move it into position like this. You can see this doesn't align perfectly, like we said before. So now our player here can walk through the entrance of the pyramid. You can see we have different objects for that. And let's create a maze first before our player can walk in. So we have SuperGrid, starter pack, but this time the blueprints. And then we can find here SuperGrid wall, like I showed you before. So F on my keyboard snaps to that location really quickly. And then I can put this into position. Okay, make sure with G I can see the spline point right here. Or also that height, so let's drag up that height first. Make sure I have the entire SuperGrid wall enabled, or else this won't work. Yeah, I think this is better. Okay, and now I can select the spline point. Okay, put this one there. Select the spline point right there. Ctrl Z to undo a mistake, and Alt drag this out if you need to. So let's say our player comes from here or something. You can create a little maze like that. So let's drag in a new super wall if our player comes from here. You can also change the height of this one again. Select the spline point. And then let's create something like this. Then you can click away back onto this, and you can Alt drag this out. And then move those spline points around or delete them and continue working like this. Okay, so now let's play from here. You can see our player sees the building. We have to go through a maze, maybe there are some enemies or pickups right here. And then we move across the wall, maybe there's a playable area right here. And then we see the temple we have to go through. And then we can go through and fall off. If you have your big details, you place your medium to small objects around. You can do this with cubes or other shapes if you want to. So for example, maybe there's a fountain right here or something like that. And then I like to go back into the materials and the palette, and then there are some templates. For example, this human one, because then I can see this is roughly the size of a human. So if I increase this, I can see. Let's say I want to be able to watch over this, then I need this, for example, at shoulder height. Or maybe even smaller, so I can have some ramps going on in my level. Maybe there are some pickups right here. And then when you see, let's align this next to each other. When I drag this up, see, this one is above the size of my player. So maybe I need some stairs next to this, for example. And what you then have to do, once you blocked out everything that you want in your scene, so let's place some more. Just quickly doing this one. What you're then going to do is replace this all with your own models. So for example, this temple right here, you can go to Pixel Bridge and look for some pillar or a column, for example. Let's say I really like this one or this pillar. Then I can drag this inside of my game. So sign in and download this. And I move this in the position of these pillars right here. And then I can just delete those ones who were before here. And there are other cool ones here in Bridge. So maybe I like this arc, and I can move it into position like this. And I can also replace items. So let's look for a fountain. Well, if they don't have it in Bridge, then you have to model this yourself, or like a table. See, there are different kind of tables. Maybe the wooden one, and you drag it in position like here. So then, well, maybe you can just drag other materials onto the walls. You can use different objects or modular pieces for that one, or just apply different material, whatever you want. And then when you replaced everything, then you have to go through your level once more and test it out if your player is still able to walk through it, find his way, and if it looks pretty and everything is scaled up correctly, even can walk through the door, if you can truly jump on here. And you can see this is roughly the size of my guy right here. Then you see he's not able to jump on here, so I need to add stairs. I need to put some pickable objects on here. I need to decorate this room. And this is how you can prototype and finish your level with some clear guidance. And I really like these tools, and hopefully so do you. Don't forget to grab the free Game Dev Toolkit in the description down below this video. You will get my free ebook on how to get better at game development, a free game design document to plan out your projects, and a free tutorial series where you create a platformer game from scratch. And those who are hungry for more, I offer a sneak peek and overview of my new premium course, The Unreal Vault, where you learn how to create beautiful levels, create a game from scratch to finish, and how to set up boss fights and create dragon fights with different attacks, including fire breathing. So if this sounds like a good deal to you, I see you there. Click the link and grab your Game Dev Toolkit now while it's still free.